The most dangerous moments in life don't announce themselves. They arrive disguised as something ordinary. A road trip with friends. A car pulled over on a quiet highway. A stranger who stops to help. They look exactly like the rest of your life. Until they don't. These are 3 stories from people who made it back. Not everyone does. It was supposed to be a simple road trip. Senior year, one last chance. 5 friends piling into a car for a 2.5-hour drive down to one of the biggest college parties in California. Hunter was driving. The rest of us were Damon, Benjamin, Armin, and me, all over 6 feet tall, cramped into a car that was not built for 5 people. But the music was good and the conversation was easy. We were off to a clean start. Finding parking in Isla Vista during Deltopia is nearly impossible, but Hunter somehow talked a stranger into lending us her spot. His sister, a junior at UCSB, had agreed to let all 5 of us sleep on the floor of her apartment. During Deltopia, a floor to sleep on is a golden ticket. That first night, we went on a liquor run. As we walked out of the store and onto the sidewalk, there he was, Amir, standing on the curb with his hands in his pockets, waiting. Now, you need to understand something about Amir. He was not part of this trip. There was no plan to meet him. No invitation, no arrangement. He had mentioned in passing that he might attend Deltopia, but that was weeks ago, a throwaway comment, nothing more. He fell into step beside us like he had been there the whole time. No greeting, no explanation. A few blocks later, he said, "Why are you guys so surprised to see me?" We said nothing. We kept walking. Back at the apartment, Amir asked to use the bathroom. Hunter hesitated, then agreed. When Hunter's sister opened the door, Amir walked right past her. "I'm staying here," he said. She had never seen him before in her life. She assumed he was with us. He knew that. He counted on it. Hunter told him to leave. They argued in the hallway for 20 minutes before Amir finally walked away. That night, we made a discovery. Hunter had been sharing his iPhone location with Amir, a setting he had forgotten about. Amir had not bumped into us by chance. He had tracked us. Followed Hunter's location across 2.5 hours of highway to a city he had never been invited to. Directly to the apartment door. The next day, Deltopia in full by evening, there were 10 of us gathered back at the apartment. We told the others about Amir. One friend, Ryland, thought he might still have Amir's location on his phone. He checked. The small blue dot was directly on top of us. The second Ryland said it out loud, the dot began moving quickly, deliberately, like someone who had just realized they had been spotted. Like someone sitting in a parked car outside, watching. We laughed it off. We should not have. Sometime after midnight, I woke up. The apartment was dark. Everyone was passed out around me. Then I heard it. Glass shattering. I grabbed the nearest object, an empty wine bottle, and moved slowly toward the living room. The sliding balcony door was gone. Completely shattered. A large rock sat in the center of the floor. I didn't need proof to know who had thrown it. I turned to wake the others. And that is when I saw it. The closet door handle, moving, slowly, jiggling from the inside. Every instinct I had told me to yank it open. Something stopped me. I woke Hunter instead. When we came back out together, the closet door was wide open. Hunter reached inside and pulled out a kitchen knife, large, heavy, left behind. Amir had been standing in that closet, in the dark, while I stood 3 feet away, with a knife. If I had opened that door alone, I would not be telling this story. We called the police. They filed a report, said property damage during Deltopia was common. They left. By morning, Amir had blocked every one of us. We haven't heard from him since, but he knows where Hunter's sister lives. He knows the apartment, the floor plan, the balcony. And sometimes I think about the fact that we went to sleep that night not knowing he was already inside. This next story happened in April of 1996. My name is Arthi. I had just finished basic training and was stationed at an airbase in San Angelo, Texas as a communications specialist. My two closest friends at the time were Sebas and Kay. One weekend, we decided to make a road trip to Austin. Nothing planned, just the open highway and 3 young soldiers with a few days off. About an hour into the drive, Sebas noticed something, a dark-colored Tahoe, behind us. Kay changed lanes, the Tahoe changed lanes, she changed again. It mirrored her. Then its lights came on. We were being pulled over. Something felt wrong immediately. The man who stepped out of the Tahoe was not dressed like a highway patrol officer. Black tactical clothing, but no badge visible. No markings on the vehicle that I could make out. Instead of approaching the driver's window, he walked to the rear of our car. He stood there, studying it, not looking at us, looking at the car, at our bumper stickers, at the license plate, at the back window, like he was trying to figure out who we were before he committed to anything. Eventually, he approached and asked Kay for her license and registration. He took both back to the Tahoe. He was gone a long time. Then 2 more men stepped out. They stood beside the Tahoe, saying nothing, watching. My heart rate was climbing. We were 3 people in a car on an empty highway. No passing traffic, no nearby exits. And there were now 3 men standing behind us. When the first man returned, he asked a question I wasn't expecting. He looked at Kay and asked, was her father in the military? He was pointing at the bumper sticker on the rear window. Kay looked at him. No, she said, I'm in the military. They are too. The moment those words left her mouth, something shifted. Not a dramatic reaction, not a sudden movement, just a stillness, the kind that comes right before a decision is reversed. He handed back the license without another word, told Kay to drive more slowly. Then all 3 men got back in the Tahoe and left fast in the opposite direction. 1 week later, we saw the news report. A man and woman had been found murdered in a roadside ditch near San Angelo. The abandoned vehicle discovered near the scene was a black Tahoe, reported stolen months before the murders. I have thought about that bumper sticker many times since then. A small piece of plastic adhesive on the back of a car. The only thing that told 3 strangers on an empty road that we were not easy targets. I have always been a private person. I don't share this story often. About 10 years ago, I was driving alone. New Jersey to Fort Worth, Texas, a long haul across the country solo with nothing but the road and the radio. Somewhere deep in the middle of the country, Arkansas, maybe Oklahoma, my car began to act up, hesitating, losing power. I pulled over to the side of the road. A white pickup truck slowed down behind me. A man in his mid-30s stepped out, rough around the edges, weathered. He said he was a mechanic, said he was glad to help. He looked over the engine, nodded, said he needed a compression tester from his truck to check something. Then he looked up and said his phone was dead. Asked if he could borrow mine to make a call. I handed it to him. He pulled out a gun. He told me to sit down on the shoulder of the road, told me not to try anything. He took my wallet, my backpack, my phone, and before he left, he made me give him the password. Then he drove away. I was left on the side of the road, middle of nowhere, alone. For a while, that seemed like the end of it. Then, 6 months later, the letters started arriving. New credit lines opened in my name, fraudulent charges, bills for things I had never purchased. He had found my social security card in my wallet. My identity was now being used across multiple states. Then someone used my health insurance in Georgia. That was the moment I stopped waiting for someone else to fix it. I started investigating myself, quietly, methodically, following every trail, every charge, every transaction. Eventually, I found a Craigslist listing in Jackson, Tennessee. Items being sold that matched fraudulent Best Buy charges on my card, Almost exactly. I contacted the seller, set up a meeting, then called the police. When the seller arrived and spotted the patrol cars, he ran, sped off, crashed, and folded immediately. It turned out there were 3 of them, targeting solo travelers on southern highways for months. All 3 were arrested. All 3 were convicted. Justice was served. But I still think about that moment on the side of the road, the engine sputtering, the white truck slowing behind me, a man who looked helpful. I still think about how many people on that highway that year never got the chance to fight back, how many names never made it into a courtroom, how close I came to being one of them. 3 road trips, 3 moments where the route changed without warning. The world outside your windshield is mostly safe, mostly kind, mostly what it appears to be. But sometimes on an empty road, in a quiet apartment, at a moment when your guard is down, something finds you. And it has been watching far longer than you knew. Drive safe. And pay attention to who is behind you. Thanks for watching.